Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and today we are back with the second night of Moons Out 2025, our night rifle match sponsored by Q, maker of super cool, fantastic guns. I actually shot this match last year with a Q boombox, and the year before that with a Q fix, and I think next year I'll be using another different Q rifle as well. Anyway, this year I am using my Lage 5.56 Mac 11A1 conversion with a B.E. Myers Maul, a fantastic, if extremely expensive, infrared laser aiming light and module. If you didn't see the intro explaining the gun, check out yesterday's video. In fact, if you didn't see yesterday's video at all, check it out, because that is the first 5 stages of our match. Today, well, we got 5 more, so let's dive right into it. Our first stage of the day is Stage 6, Bound Forward. You are part of a fire team rush on the enemy's outpost. This stage has been brought to you by Aimpoint, optics for professionals. This stage is the darkest stage of the whole match. You can see my nods are sparkling a little bit here, trying to put out, but man, when I fire out that Maul illuminator, it lights everything up like daylight. So this stage is kind of inside the forest. That's why there is much less light. You'll see that here from the cameraman's position. When I turn off the illuminator, there's not a whole lot left. Now, the stage is pretty simple. There's one target. There are 6 boxes that you advance through. Each box, you have to hit the target 3 times. A couple things that complicate it. One, the target has a flasher on it. So when you hit, it goes off like that and then stays on for a moment. And in daylight, this is a fantastic little tiny light that helps ROs determine when you've made a hit. At night, that light really disrupts your aiming, and it'll wash out your laser, and it makes it really kind of hard to figure out where you have to hit that target. Like, where is the actual target? Because it's completely bloomed out by that flasher indicator. So a really cool element of the stage. If you were really good, you could make hits while that light was on, but a lot of people, including me some of the time here, had to wait for that light to turn off before we could acquire the target again and make hits. We also have an RO here following you, providing cover fire with blanks as you're moving from position to position, which is kind of cool. It kind of turned out to be not as interesting for the shooter as we'd hoped it would be. So yeah, boy, you can really see here the difference between just passive night vision allows you to get. We're filming this with a pretty darn good PVS 14, although not as good as my nods are. And then, man, you hit the illuminator and it all comes out. So sorry about the full auto here. I thought it'd be fun to do on the last couple of targets, but YouTube doesn't allow me to show that. So if you want to see the full uncensored video, we have it up for patrons and on the History of Weapons and War app. This was a really fun stage. I didn't do nearly as well as some people, but a good time. Stage number 7, the Double Wide of Death. You are part of a SEAL team sent out to rescue and evacuate a CIA team held in a drug cartel base. The stage brought to you by B&T and specifically by their new Inconel titanium hybrid printed suppressors. Super cool stuff. Quick and dirty stage here. This is our shoot house. So you're going to start by throwing in a simulated flashbang grenade, and then boom, there it goes. Then grab your gun and in you go. There are targets that have to be eliminated and no-shoots. The no-shoots are wearing hats and t-shirts. Those are, of course, penalties if you hit them. Navigate your way through the shoot house. Shoot the guys that need shooting. Don't shoot the ones that don't. I did this whole stage in burst mode, so YouTube has to censor it out here. If you want to see the full uncensored video, it's pretty awesome. It's available for patrons and the History of Weapons and War app. I've got links below. I did really well in this one, 6th overall out of the whole match. Stage 8, Bakhmut Night Assault. You are assaulting to take a position in the ruins of the city of Bakhmut. Brought to you by Varusteleka, the finest in military and outdoors gear, as well as daily wear clothing. Pretty much everything I wear is from Varusteleka. This is a classic stage that a bunch of you will, I hope, recognize as soon as I get to the first actual shooting position. This is our Casarda drill for Moons Out 25. So, as with that standard stage design, the idea is you have a kettlebell. In this case, it was a 50-pound or 52-pound kettlebell. You have to throw it downrange. We have about 50 yards of kettlebell throwing this year. It was a very long stage. Par time on this is 4 minutes. In fact, par time on all our stages this year was a full 4 minutes. At any rate, you throw the kettlebell where it lands, you have to engage the target. For this particular stage, you're required to make 2 hits on the target, and you have to do it from a kneeling position. There are a series of 5 barricade logs or sticks along the course of the shooting. Every time you cross one of those, you get a 10-second bonus to your time. But of course, the kettlebell will not roll through them, as I managed to do on just about every time that I get to one of those barricades. The kettlebell rolls up, bonks into it, and stops. We also have a bunch of debris, barrels, and pallets arranged throughout the stage to act as barricades for your line of sight, as well as barricades for the kettlebell. Took a stick off that one right there, but you can see the kettlebell runs into the bonus barrier and just stops. This was a long and physically grueling stage, definitely the most physical stage of the whole match this year, but I have always really liked this course of fire. It's something we do in every one of our matches. Lynx and Finnish Brutality, of course, do the same thing. It's a standard course of fire for us. So this was made a bit more difficult by the target being a 2/3 size silhouette. It was fairly difficult to see. I actually did better on hits on this stage than I really thought that I would. Again, that maul and its like nuclear second sun illuminator really are what made this possible for me. But then on top of the target being hard to see, I have, of course, handicapped myself here with an open bolt machine gun trigger that is very heavy. When I ran this actually during the staff match with a nice AR, and I was able to have much better trigger control. Although, interestingly, when I ran this with an AR, I parred out. I didn't manage to finish it, where I did manage to pull it off here with the Lage and the maul. And I think, well, the reason that I would give for the difference in performance there is not the gun, but actually the aiming module. That maul was substantially better than the D-ball that I used on the AR run. Anyway, that AR run will be posting in a couple days. Once we get to the very last bonus position, you make 2 hits once again over the line. Then you do a high value shot, which normally means you pull the mag and fire the round in the chamber. For me, with an open bolt gun, I fired a round and then pulled the mag and then dry fired it to close the bolt. That ensures that the gun is 100% empty. The 180-degree safety rule no longer then applies, and you grab the kettlebell and your rifle, and you run it, or kind of slog it, as I am here. You run it all the way back to the starting position, so this is a self-resetting stage. You run it back to the starting position, make 2 more hits, so we have something for the timer to click on, and then you're all done. So here we go. I get the kettlebell back, let the cameraman clear the downrange, and then reload the rifle. And I have to get 2 more hits, which takes me, I believe, 3 shots. And I was pretty well completely wiped out at the end of this one. But, man, good stage. I did really well on it. Like 80% of people parred out on this stage. Stage 9, Radio Freakout. Get it? Get it? Anyway, we don't actually have a story behind this stage. It's just a stage with radios, which has been brought to you by T-Rex Arms, purveyors of holsters, armor, night vision, and so much more. This was a new stage concept for us this year, and it worked out really well. So the idea is you go to the VTAC, and you have to engage the 2 targets, each with 2 hits, no double taps. So left, right, left, right. You will then receive directions on your next target engagement via a radio that is in your pocket or somewhere on your gear that you got at the beginning of the stage.
Shooter, move to left side of left horizontal barricade. Get 4 hits in a 1-2-1-2 pattern.
Now, the course of fire is the same from each position, so it's always left, right, or right, left, doesn't matter. But there will be a total of 6 engagements.
Shooter, move to table, make engagement under table. Get 4 hits in a 1-2-1-2 pattern.
So these can include under the table, over the table, left and right side of each barricade, and then the side of the VTAC, the top square hole in the VTAC, and the bottom square hole in the VTAC. So shooting-wise, it's really simple.
Zero versus VTAC. Make engagement from upper square hole. Get 4 hits in a 1-2-1-2 pattern.
It honestly didn't look like all that much written out on paper, but man, it was a really fun experience to shoot. Just really cool getting that radio.
Zero, move to right side of right horizontal barricade. Get 4 hits in a 1-2-1-2 pattern.
Right side, right barricade.
I couldn't quite make that one out, so the RO repeated it to me. This was not pre-recorded, by the way. We had another range officer with a transmitting radio up the hill, watching the stage and calling out
Move to
engagements.
right side of left barricade. They can get 4 hits in a 1-2-1-2 pattern.
We are definitely going to keep this stage for next year and iterate on it. We got feedback from a lot of people that this was one of their favorite stages of the whole match, because just a cool experience you don't normally get to do.
Zero, move to VTAC. Engage targets from lower square. Get 4 hits in a 1-2-1-2 pattern.
All right, here's my last set. The targets weren't all that hard to hit, and I did really pretty well overall on this.
Zero. Engagement complete.
All right, go ahead and unload.
There we go. Exercise
Magazine out.
concluded. And much fun was had by everybody. All right, now we'll head on over to the very last stage. And Stage 10, Assault on Camp A-107. This puts you on the opposite side of Stage 5 from yesterday. So today, your mission is to overrun the Imperialist camp and defeat the puppet troops. Your mission is to open the breach in the wire and allow follow-on squads to wipe out the enemy base. Brought to you by Trijicon, brilliant aiming solutions, all sorts of great optics. What can I say? Les Winner, our stage designer and match director, is a big fan of John Wayne and a big fan of Green Berets, 1968. Anyway, this one, you start with a ladder, throw it onto the concertina wire a la the movie, and that, by the way, is real concertina wire, so don't trip and fall in it, or you'll have a really bad night. There are then 8 targets set up in the field and back along the tree line, and you have to engage each one of them with 1 hit. Once you've gotten them all, you run to the opposite side of the wire and repeat it, and then you come back and do the same thing twice more. So 8 targets, each one you have to hit 4 times in total for a grand total of 32 rounds of engagement. This was a fun stage because there were a lot of targets. Part of me, just with the gun I had, wishes the targets had been in a narrower cone and a little more conducive to prone shooting. It would have been really fun to go prone and just really lay it down on these targets. But because of the shooting position, the hill, and the array of the targets, how spread out they were, you kind of had to do this one standing or kneeling. So that's what I did. I engaged this like all of the other stages. We're using the laser, the maul not indirect fire, but from the hip, like so. I didn't end up actually using the red dot, the Aimpoint Comp M4 at all in the match, although it is set far enough forward and high enough that I can use it with the nods. It was just never seemed to be a faster option than the laser. By the way, here I have a little fumbly trouble with the reload because I should have charged the bolt first, then inserted the magazine, rather than try and insert a full magazine under a closed bolt, which on an open bolt gun like this, you don't really ever want to do. There's no need to because it fires from an open bolt. Anyway, we're back to the first position here. We'll get our last couple of engagements there. Big thanks to our drone operator who got thermal footage of all the stages where it was relevant. Of course, couldn't do it on things like the shoot house, but I thought it made for a really cool extra way of looking at the match here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that as well. All right. This is sadly approaching the end of the match. This whole experience was really fun for me. The stages, the organization were a step up from last year, and frankly, I thought Moons Out 2024 was a pretty darn well-run, good match, but this year was just above and beyond. So we are really excited to bring this back again next year. It's going to be even bigger and better than it was this year. A huge thanks to all of our sponsors. They made a pretty darned awesome prize table available. Random draw prizes, of course, like all like Link's brutality, like Finnish brutality. That is by far the only good way to do prize tables. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully, if you were at the match and you're watching this, you had as good a time as I did. My overall score ended up being 13th out of 137 shooters, 9th out of 84 in the active infrared division. Props and respect to all the guys who were in the passive division and all the guys who were in the armored TST division wearing body armor and carrying a bunch of mandatory kit. But 13th out of 137 overall is way better than I expected to be able to do. I'm extremely happy with that. Could have done even better if it wasn't for my one really dumb penalty on the first night, leaving a drum magazine behind. Yeah, had a great time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it. Thanks.